Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. And Kevin, we're on the road finally in 2024. An easy one to start. Middling game. Want to find out where we are?
Yeah, I think it's a good one for both teams. I think it's one to find out where Huddersfield are up to after the properly just didn't live up to the hype last year. So it'd be an interesting one to see where both teams and squads are up to, and where they're wrestling with the new laws of the game and the new rules and all that. It'd be an interesting one.
I don't think this is an easy one at all. I think this is a banana skin for us. In our pre-season predictions, we obviously talked about them. I think we had them about 8th and 9th in our tables. And then they've gone to beat Lee last week. But before we get on to that, let's start off with Kev's favourite topic.
What is it? Not playing at 9 at 9? Oh, the match review panel, yes.
Thoughts on last week's farce, Kevin? There's not a leading question.
I know. I mean, where to begin with it? Where to begin with it, David? Where?
Well, I know this is going out after Hull KR beat Leeds last night, and a couple of Leeds players avoided Reds. The briefings they get before the season say it's not a mitigation if a player's falling. Yet last night it was given that way. You see one high hit, not penalised. You see another given a yellow. You see a player dropped on his head and gets a yellow and no ban. Is it a bit of a lottery? Does anybody know the rules? Because it seems that everything now is very much open to interpretation. And for me, with the match review panel, they're the last word on the matter. So the referee on the field can say one thing, the video ref who's had multiple looks can say another, and then it reaches the the MRP, and they go, well, this is what's happening, and it doesn't matter what anybody else has said, but because they're the last to have a look at it, what they say goes.
I think I'd point you, if you've not listened to it already, Dave, listen to the House of League podcast with Matt Shaw. He's had Rob Hicks on this week, and Rob gives it from his point of view. You know what? It's almost like I want to kind of doff my cap to Rob for going on it and having to try and get through the explanations from his side of things, and him saying that he's got to bring fans along with him. I mean, he only mentions us as fans towards the end. He doesn't really look at that, and I think we're one of the major, not the main, but we're probably one of the major stakeholders. And Matt presents it very, very well, because he doesn't go looking for specific things. He goes asking him a broad range of questions. Now, there's a couple of things that kind of came to my head, and it was the fact that the game gets seemingly refed on field, video refed, then the match review panel look at everything again, and it's right that you should be able to challenge, and some of the challenges are made and players are either downgraded or let off or whatever, because it shows that a system is working. It's not just a dictatorship, that system. But it's just too complicated. The MRP's been running for years. It needs to be a lot easier, because if you're trying to bring new fans in, if you're trying to, as Rob kept saying, he was trying to say that they're looking after the future of the game. Well, the future of the game is keeping fans there. Without fans, you don't have a TV audience, you don't have audience going in, you don't have people buying merchandise. You've got to keep people engaged. And while they're doing all this work with the players and the coaching staff, and rightly so, I think there's a duty to make sure that if clubs are putting it out, the RFL put stuff out that the clubs have got to put out, that you then see and you hear about everything, and it's very, very transparent. The one thing that I didn't like that Rob said was that you can't change things now that the season's started. I think it would show leadership and courage that if they kept on, they'd said, we are going to see how this season goes. We're sorry that things might change, but things might change. And you kind of keep fine-tuning things and getting things better. And he did say about the lack of consistency because they're working on a new framework. But they're not working on a new framework for every single bit of foul play. And you mentioned like the Harry Smith one, I think, is the one that you're referring to, as he's tipped the cast player over. It boggles my mind that the MRP and people like John Wilkin are victim blaming and saying that the cast player should have dipped his head and played for a penalty. I think if you want that type of challenge out the game, you've got to ban it every single time. And players will get the idea that you can't do that.
The cast player is almost defenceless in that motion. Where he ends up, it might be like a natural body reaction to move your head in the split second that you find yourself getting tipped upside down when you're not expected to. Question, Kevin. If Wigan weren't playing in the World Club Challenge this weekend, would he have been banned?
I would have expected him to. But on the flip side, who knows, because of the inconsistencies. And I think one of the things that I need to stress here is when Wigan fans are going, they're just picking on Harry Smith because it's for the World Club Challenge. You switch that to Harry Smith's the one being dumped, and Wigan fans would not be saying, he didn't deserve anything, he's fine. They wouldn't be saying he could have broke his neck in that.
Harry Smith was injured and put out of the World Club Challenge.
Yeah. They wouldn't be saying that.
I will point out that we did actually tweet to say that we felt the ban shouldn't apply for the World Club Challenge, and it should be, they should apply it to the domestic games because we didn't want to see him miss out on that. Or do you know what I'd have done? I'd have deferred week one's disciplinary MRP until after the World Club Challenge and just looked at week 1 and week 2 incidents altogether. I know you could argue that players don't get banned as quick as they should, or maybe instead prior to the start of the season, anything involving in anything that happens in the Wigan and Cast game, we'll look at next week. And then you couldn't have fans accusing you one way or the other of, well, you would have banned him or you wouldn't have banned such a body. The other issue I've got with the MRP, Kev, is MRP has been going many, many years. They make a decision, what day is it? Tuesdays that it comes out?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday. And then 24 hours later, another group meets for the appeals. And I'd love to know what percentage they actually changed the decision. So are they saying the MRP were wrong in the first place?
Again, I'll point you towards that House of League podcast where there was a bit of information and didn't go into detail with it. I feel like I'm acting as the defence for Robert Hicks here. I'm not. It's just something I've listened to today.
No, you're just Matt Shaw's lackey.
Yeah, well, if he prints me stuff ever. Yeah.
I'll signpost him to that one.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, they just had a little bit more detail, but to kind of the appeal, so they had a little bit more evidence. But you almost think, well,
why wasn't that evidence available 24 hours earlier?
Exactly. Why not go whole hog?
Are the clubs consistently getting the evidence wrong? It just doesn't make sense. Right. Listen, I think we've said all there is to say on the disciplinary. We hate the MRP.
Well, I think we are. Just before we move on,
don't like individual. It's not about individuals. It's about the panel, the makeup. I don't like the system. I hate the system. I didn't feel it was fit for purpose last season. I can't believe it never got revised during the off season. The clubs need to get together and say not fit for purpose.
Yeah, and I just really quickly, I want to say we had a conversation in the week on the phone about how we discuss challenges on our social media and how some, and I'll stress some, can't follow these discussions properly. They don't give themselves time. When it comes to Saints, we're obviously not going to be the case for the prosecution against our own, but we won't necessarily be the case for the defence either. And I know that's difficult for the hard of thinking to comprehend, but if they give themselves a bit of time, they'll get there in the end.
Yeah, listen, there's quite a few occasions where we've looked at incidents and gone, I've laughed about it and gone, I can't believe he's got away with it. And do you know what? You take it. They've got away with it. We think we've got away with one there. And equally, I think there was an incident with Morgan Knowles last season against Halifax, and he got a ban from it, and I was raging about it at the time.
Yeah.
We try and be as honest as possible. As you say, if it was Lewis Dodd had dumped that cast player on his head, I'd have just been keeping relatively quiet on that one rather than trying to defend him. I think we had this discussion. If one of our players tips someone upside down and drops them on the head, I'm not entirely sure what defence I'd be able to offer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Anyway,
I think there are some Wigan fans who've looked at it and gone, he's got away with that one there. We'll take that one.
Yeah, and rightly so. And you should take them when they come for you. Absolutely right.
I think when Morgan Knowles got off before the people keep referring to the Morgan Knowles one before the grand final.
Yeah,
I think we got him off on a very good legal argument. And I think we tweeted Mike Rush in barrister robes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh well, right. On to the squads, Kevin. I'll let you go through Saints.
Yeah, so Connie and Jake Burns drop out of that with Moses and Bai, and Morgan Knowles coming into the squad for possibly their first game of the Super League season. Still a strong one, that.
Ridiculously strong, and we're going to get onto our teams in a minute. Connie, I believe, missing out due to a bit of illness. Get well soon, Connie. Right, so we get onto the teams, Kev. I'll let you go through yours first.
Okay. Right, so... Yes, well, I gathered so next to my own name. It's whether
I can see the cameras. You see, that's the problem. I can't see the old name.
It's whether both Morgan and Moses come in. I think they probably will do, but Paul Wellens has mentioned in the week that it might not necessarily happen like that. As you will see, I have gone for no George Delaney in that. That isn't because I think he'll be rested, because he's a young lad and we need to make sure he manages game time, as I said in his pre-season preview. I think it's because he's got a chin injury and it's a perfect time to rest him for a game and let it get better.
Is it a perfect time, though, given our lack of props?
But you've got Jake Wingfield there, you've got Sione there, you've got Morgan Knowles coming back in who can prop, and you put Bell at 13. So we've still got plenty there.
I think we're pretty much agreed on the starting 13. I've gone for Delaney, you've gone for Wingy. And do you know what? I didn't want to leave Jake out.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I didn't want to leave George out, and I think if I hadn't seen him with this like cut that he's got on his chin, it wouldn't have even entered my head that George Delaney might not make the bench.
Obviously, you've got Connie not making it, Joe Baxter come back, Wingy fighting for a spot in the 17. And we said, listen, in our preview that we thought he'd be in the 17 every week this year. I've not been able to fit him in just because of other performances last week, and I thought Wingy played well last week. Listen, if Jake Wink makes the bench and James Bell misses out, I think it'd be incredibly harsh on James Bell. It's a really good situation to be in at this time of the year.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, at any point that you're struggling to kind of pick your 17 because you've got too many players to fit into it. It's the type of headache Wello wants, isn't it? We can't agree on it. So, I mean, I'm glad I don't get paid to make that decision.
Assuming the MRP don't ban any of our players and we can keep fit, you're going to have good opportunity just to have that little bit of rotation and try different combinations this year.
Yes, yeah. Just get people who've missed a bit of rugby, so the likes of Jake Wingfield will come in and play games. It allows you to kind of transition players like Joe Batchelor back in when he's fit again. It's great. And we've not even spoken about like the wing situation where Wonga Blake played on the wing against London. I think he'll play centre this week with Connie missing out. I don't think Ben Davis will be in the 17, might be 18th man maybe. And I think John Bennison's ahead of T. Ritson at the moment. Yeah.
I think that was shown from the friendly. We spoke about Huddersfield away being a bit of a banana skin. How many times have Saints beat Huddersfield away on the bounce, Kevin?
5.
7.
Oh, that was just a guess. I'll take that. Huddersfield is one of my... I hate going to Huddersfield and I hate going to Hull KR for very different reasons. And that is Hull KR is one of them angry grounds, old school, proper atmosphere. And Huddersfield, unfortunately, the ground is just too big for them. And you don't quite get that same atmosphere there. And it is such a shame for them with it being the birthplace of rugby league.
Does that affect Huddersfield? I know they've had a good year one year when they were up at the top. Does that affect Huddersfield? With the ground being so big that they haven't really got a home field advantage.
Yeah, I think so. I think it can do. I don't think if you've got that kind of that G up from the crowd, I think that does affect you.
But there should hopefully be about 1,500-1,600 Saints fans minimum over there. I'll let you talk us through the Huddersfield squad.
Yeah, so Huddersfield are missing Jake Connor, who has failed a HIA. Also not named is Jake Bibby, the number 5. Joe Greenwood and Harry Rushton are long-term injury concerns. And Luke Yates, the captain, excuse me, got banned in pre-season for a tip tackle that we've been talking about. Got a 3-game ban, dangerous contact against Castleford. I think he put it on Insta, possibly, saying that he didn't think that Adam Kieran or Harry Smith should have got banned as well, but he just questioned why he got banned for the same.
Right. Kevin Nagama, our favourite Fijian. That is a strong squad when you look at it. They definitely underperformed last season. Has that lulled us into a false sense of security, thinking that this is going to be easy pickings?
Yeah, possibly so. I don't know what Lee have been like or what they were like last week.
We were told that when they played Warrington in pre-season, they looked really good.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if they didn't have a good run at the end of last season, and it looks like they brought that form into the league as well. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they go. I think one of the kind of under the radar players that they've got is Ashton Golding, who just seems to be a very, very busy player, always involved, gets through a load of work. But yeah, it's one of them games that I'm obviously going to go for a Saints win if all of our players stay on the field and aren't caught out by these new laws. I'd go for a Saints win, but it's not going to be a runaway for me.
Yeah. I think we were 10 on the handicap last time I looked.
I'd go with 8-10. Yeah,
I'd be going with let's swerve that one.
Well, yeah, I'd only bet on it if it was with your money. I wouldn't be doing it with me.
Right, last things to discuss. Kevin, Redvee said this was a truly outstanding, exceptional masterpiece. We also spoke to Josh Howard on the night, and I actually said to him, how's this not on Sky? And lo and behold, a couple of months later, or 6 weeks later, it's made Sky, and rightly so. I actually, although we've seen it on the cinema at the premiere, I actually enjoyed watching it in HD last night on the TV. Start to finish once again. And I've recorded it. It'll stay in my locked recorded items on the Skybox, and it will be dug out now and again when I've got nothing to watch, because it's that good.
Yeah, I watched it via Saints TV last weekend. I think it was last Thursday. Sorry, I watched it on Saints TV. As you say, a tremendous thing to catch up on if you can. Obviously, they've had the period of exclusivity on Saints TV. Now it's out there for the masses, with it being World Club Challenge weekend. Yeah, get it watched. If you're a Saints fan, just get it watched. It's absolutely tremendous. Great work by Josh and Tom Maguire, who I read a little interview with Tom today, and he said how the wheels went in motion well before they set out, that they started having the ideas around it. And they've both done absolutely tremendous work.
Yeah, good work from the media team. Great work from the media team. Do you reckon Penrith stayed up and watched it last night?
I hope they did.
I hope they did.
Well,
I hope they paused Wellens team talk about them and where we look to attack them so they can rectify that for tomorrow. Although it must be said, Kevin, just to finish off, we do wish them the best of luck tomorrow, don't we?
Yes.
Not sure who them are.
I'd take a competitive game with the drop goal winning it.
But they won't be in red and white.
They won't be.
And do you know what? This isn't. I get the argument. Oh, let's keep it in the British game. I don't care. If Saints aren't winning a trophy, I do not care. Yeah. The minute Saints went out the playoffs, I do not care. The minute Everton go out of the FA Cup in the third round, I don't care.
The third round. Yeah.
The minute we got the Carling Cup in round 2 at Doncaster, I don't care.
See, with the challenge,
I don't want anyone to win it. If Saints aren't winning it, I don't want anyone to win it. I don't want Penrith to win it. I equally don't want Wigan to win it. The best they could hope for is a competitive draw where the floodlight fails. and they can't replay it because the flight home's on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Okay.
And we retain the trophy by default.
By default. And we'll do a special. We'll do a special on it. We'll get Tom and Josh in, and we'll film a special on how we reclaimed it by sitting at home and laughing that the floodlights had gone out.
Yeah, with some of that special music over the top of us. The best part is, Kev, because they've scheduled us to play at 5:30 tomorrow, we're not going to see it.
No, we'll be on the way home, won't we? So,
yeah.
Winner.
Yeah. May the best team win tomorrow. And that's the NRL team. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you for an instant reaction, which you can start watching at 8 p.m. tomorrow. And we will try to make it last 80 minutes.